Hello, hello, hello. JLR investigates. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is still missing. Come on in, everyone. We're gonna listen to a segment in real time going on by the great Vinnie Politan. He actually put out a video that he's going to do a YouTube live saying Sebastian Rogers, why won't they clear the dad? And I'm assuming he's talking about Seth Rogers. A lot of cloud of suspicion centered around Seth. A lot of cloud of suspicion centered around Chris and Katie Proudfoot. Come on in, JLR investigates. We're going to talk about Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. So also, folks, remember the lady yesterday or the day before, Donna Fowler, that was putting out information that she's 100% certain that Sebastian was alive? Remember that lady? Well, she apparently Tony Mathis has put out a statement too, saying that he spoke to this Donna Sneed Fowler woman. I want to share that statement with all of you here. Come on in. Yes, I see a lot of people piling in. This is Sebastian Rogers. It's interesting to see and listen to what Vinnie Politan has to say. The reason being is Tony and Seth were speaking to Vinnie Politan the other night, and it seems like at the end of the segment, Vinnie Politan was bamboozled a little bit and shocked to hear out of Seth's own mouth that he hasn't been cleared. There's a lot of people out there that feel he's a suspect. There's people that feel that he's not. People feel that this is a criminal case. People feel it is not. These two jokers haven't really said anything for months and centered around this case. It's almost as if this case has gone cold. I don't know your opinion if you feel like it's been cold or not. But this is what Tony had to say. He actually put out a statement just a few minutes ago. And it says, "Hello. I hope you all are well and that you had a great weekend. I want to address the post and comments made by Donna Sneed Fowler regarding 100% proof that Sebastian is alive. While we all agree that this type of news is that we hope to hear, there is no proof of that. I spoke directly to Donna, a very nice lady, regarding the information she had, and here is the short version. She's talking about the alleged sighting at the Walmart in Cleveland, Tennessee in April. Now, I know nothing about that sighting. I don't even remember that sighting. Does anyone remember about that sighting in Walmart? I never heard of that one, so that's new information for me. She took that information and began to research the autism centers in that area. She found a place by the name of Ludic Spectrum Center in Cleveland, Tennessee. She saw a couple of pictures on the website of the children currently in the facility and thought that the two of them in the pictures could be Sebastian. After speaking with Seth, we both agreed that the kids in the pictures were not Sebastian. We do appreciate Donna and anyone else that comes forward with information. Hope this clears everything up, and we appreciate your thoughts, prayers, and support. Hashtag we are Sebastian's Army, Sebastian Strong." So the lady said, she did say that 100% that Sebastian was alive, but I just think I was very skeptical about it. So at least they looked into it. At least that's good that there was no blind eye turned on this, and they actually dug in and talked to the lady. Why the lady only wanted to speak to Tony or Seth is another conversation. She should have took that information and went directly to law enforcement with it, not a private attorney or a private party. But instead, she felt and said that she did not trust law enforcement. So there you have it. It doesn't look like it was Sebastian, and she was just confusing it with other kids on their website. But it better be safe than sorry, right? It's better to be safe than sorry, right? Because, there has been quite a few sightings of Sebastian the last couple months, and they end up not being him. Though, some really did resemble Sebastian. I think the one in North Carolina was legit. But Wasn't Sebastian. Now, I want to share some information because there's some people circulating out around the internet about they're falsely claiming that I am tied in with the Proudfoots. Like I'm working with the Proudfoots. I've seen a lot of these strange comments from people saying, I don't know where they get this garbage information from, that I'm working with the Proudfoots and I'm working hand to hand with the Proudfoots. I want to put out on the record that I am 100% not working with the Proudfoots. The last time I had any communication with the Proudfoots, and I will show you, was on March 19th, 2024, when I was originally reaching out to Chris. We were exchanging messages back and forth in Facebook. This is when I was really going at him, and this is when he got mad at me and was calling me out, but I was really telling him, hey, come clean, come clean, come clean. But for some reason, people out there falsely claim that I'm somehow working with the Proudfoots or communicating with the Proudfoots. I've never had a conversation ever with Katie Proudfoot. The only conversation I've ever had with Chris Proudfoot was via Facebook Messenger. And this was my last correspondence right here with Christopher Proudfoot. And I said to him, is your lawyer going to give a statement about you guys and the Sebastian case? And he stopped responding to me at this point. So he didn't even read these particular messages. But I said, is your lawyer going to give a statement about you guys and the Sebastian case? People would like to know. How you feeling, Chris? Rogers' family is calling you out. Your neighbors are calling you out. Best to tell the truth to authorities ASAP. So I'm basically telling Chris to cooperate with authorities. This is March 19th. Remember, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers was reported missing on February 26, 2024. March 19th, 8:34 p.m. Any comment on Tina and Michael Laird and security cams? That's in reference to the neighbors that lived across the street. I don't know if they still live there, but there was a lot of talks like there were security cameras. So I was just trying to get, some answers from him. But at that point, I think he just put me on mute and he stopped responding to me. But I never had a conversation with Chris Proudfoot after this date, March 19th, 2024. Never communicated with it, never spoke to them, never emailed them, never had a conversation other than brief exchange that me and Chris Proudfoot had in Facebook Messenger. I just wanted to say that because there is in the groups and stuff like that, I don't know where they get this information from, this bogus stuff saying that I'm working with the Proudfoots, but I am not. And again, I will put on the record that I believe Katie Proudfoot is the 100% suspect, prime suspect in the disappearance. She holds all the answers. She is the key to this mystery. And, Chris seems like he's just taking bullets for her and covering for her, coddling her, shielding her, enabling her. Maybe she's innocent. I at this point, I don't even know what to think anymore, because I just think that there's, weird things going on around this case, and it focuses back on Seth, believe it or not. Like the what's that thing that shifts? It's it's shifting back towards Seth. I don't think this guy did anything with his son that night, February 26th or the 25th into the 26th, but I still am very skeptical. But Vinnie Politan is on, so I wanted to get this, and we want to listen and review this live that he's currently doing about Seth being a suspect, right? Or not a suspect, but why won't they clear the dad? So let me get it in here, and let me get it up and running here, and we're gonna listen to
Are you
Mr.
telling
Vinnie.
me this is either the perfect escape runaway by a 15-year-old with autism on medication, or this is the perfect crime, one or the other? Is that what we're saying here? No evidence, no leads, no suspects, no nothing? No evidence of foul play? So here we are in the case of Sebastian Rogers. I'm Vinnie Politan. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button, subscribe,
Subscribe to his channel. He does good stuff.
Keep us going here.
But we're gonna review this.
It's great to have everyone here.
We're in the know too.
Posed is, why is Sebastian's father still not cleared? He was on my show the other night and talked about it. And it's very concerning to him because he believes it's really hindering his access to information, hindering everything. So, I mean, isn't that the way investigations should go? You look at the people closest and then you fully investigate. And everything he has said is that he has been completely cooperative, willing to do a lie detector, gave up his phone, everything else, alibi at work at the time. I'm trying to understand what it would take for him to be cleared.
What would it take for Seth Rogers to get cleared?
I don't understand. What do they potentially suspect out there? I guess anything is on the table, right? If you're an investigator with no evidence or no information. But at the same time, there's nothing. Wow. Absolutely nothing. And that's frustrating, because if there's nothing at this point, when will there be something? Like what could possibly happen?
I believe his communications has something to do with Sebastian being missing.
There have been extensive searches that have continued. Like if he went off on his own, but first of all, if he's leaving in the middle of the night on his own, how and why would he leave? Right? For me, it was always thinking about, well, maybe someone lured him there under something. Well, then there would be some digital. There would be something that would indicate that. And then presumably there would be many more people who know, many more opportunities for someone to talk. And if it was in fact a classmate or someone like that, how limited was his interaction on the World Wide Web, on the internet? Could he have been
Nintendo Switch
targeted by someone pretending to be someone else?
Nintendo Switch
to get him to a particular place? Did he leave on his own? Could he have left? I guess it's possible, but why would he leave without shoes? Why would he leave without a phone?
How do we know he didn't have shoes?
That makes sense, does it? Of course it doesn't. Of course it doesn't.
We're supposed to believe Kate?
There's nothing about the circumstances that at least we believe to be true that would lead to him walking away on his own. There's nothing.
Oh, I think there's something. I think Sumner County has something.
And everything is possible. Everything's on the table. We get it. There's no suspects, no evidence, no leads, no nothing.
And I think they have suspects too. And I think it's a criminal case.
But did he leave without his shoes? Like if that part of this is true, that there's no evidence that he had shoes on his feet, where is he going?
He ain't going nowhere barefooted around there. He's not going barefooted around that neighborhood.
How would he not be found or seen or spotted or someone said something? If he's lured by some creeper or something.
Nah.
In a gaming app or somewhere else, somehow was able to make contact with him. How would there not be some trail of that somewhere? Because I've got to believe they've investigated all of that, including his phone.
What about Seth being cleared?
It doesn't make a lot of sense to anyone.
That's because people are.
But it seems
hiding information, withholding information.
There had to be something somewhere that caused this to happen, right? Tension in the home, an argument, a fight, a threat,
communications,
something like that. Someone luring him, or someone creating a situation making him want to run away. But without shoes, come on.
That's always been Katie's bogus.
And there's zero. And by the way, they're saying nothing about this as well. So what happens to the cases where there's no evidence, no leads, no anything, and they're not saying anything? I think there was a big lesson in the Delphi case. In retrospect, right? I mean, ultimately they arrest Richard Allen. And he is someone who told some form of law enforcement that he was there that day. And years later, I guess they find the clothes that are similar, and he's got a similar build, etc., all of that. But, they It got buried. Someone didn't see that piece of paper. Like no one thought through all those years. All right, let's go back. Who was there that day? Who do we know was there that day? And it's one of the guys. It's the guy they arrest. It's insanity. It's insanity. That's why when stories like this happen, I tend to give the benefit of the doubt to investigators and to law enforcement. I always do. But then I have a story like Delphi where it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense, and if Richard Allen is the one actually responsible, you knew about him on day one or beginning of day two. I forgot when his interview was.
I think
you knew about him.
I think Delphi makes more sense than Sebastian.
You didn't investigate him for 5 years, 7 years, whatever it was. That makes no sense to me. No sense. So, what will it take to clear Sebastian's father, who, from all accounts, seems pretty connected to trying to get to the bottom of this? Now, I've seen parents in all different circumstances. And I know we all react differently, and yada, 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 yada. But I've been doing this for a long time. And I've seen parents with missing children in different scenarios. All different scenarios. And there's a little bit of a pattern. The ones who are really looking for their child and are looking for an answer and are obsessed, and it's the most important. I mean, they are there day in and day out. They're not letting it go. And by the way, they are very public about it. And you can, say whatever you want. Say what you want about it.
I like Vinnie.
I know I'm in the media. I want people to talk. But I think sunshine helps these days. And you can go after the internet, and you can say, oh, it's a bad thing. Rumors that it breathes life into stories. It keeps faces in the public eye, and it keeps pressure going.
Public
Whether
awareness.
It's a podcast, a live stream, stories on the local news, stories on national news like Court TV. It keeps the pressure on, and it keeps people talking. Yep. It does keep people talking. So if more than one person knows about something, then someone may be more likely to talk about it. Because at this point, that seems like that's the only place where this is going. If the physical evidence, the digital footprint, none of that has led anywhere, then it seems like you've got to hope that more than one person knows about this, about what happened. And that other person will speak, will have a reason to speak. So how do we get to clearing someone? Well, someone gets cleared when they are completely open and provide everything they can. And what Seth Rogers is saying, and has told me and has told everyone else, that he is ready, willing, and able. Here, what else do you need? Just clear me. Because he won't. Sometimes he sounds more frustrated than other times. I think he tries to control himself, right, for obvious reasons. But my goodness, it's his child. It's his child. And there are great members of law enforcement who want to solve cases, but no one wants to solve more than a child's parent, period. Give me a break. It's like when you go to you're in with the doctor, you're at the hospital, all the doctors, they all want to do good. Well, they've got more than one thing going on. And that's why every patient needs an advocate, whether it's an adult child or a parent or a brother, sister, uncle, friend, whatever it is. Once you get in that system, you need an advocate to get the kind of care that you need. Otherwise, things can get overlooked. And it's the same thing when it comes to missing children. You need like that squeaky wheel to keep the pressure on, but can also help. Because who's going to know more about Sebastian than his parents. Nobody. Nobody's going to know more about him than his parents. They're a great resource. But in order to use them as a resource, you've got to clear them.
Why aren't they cleared?
Law enforcement said everyone's cooperating. No problem with the cooperation. Well, can you clear them and then up the level of cooperation? It's not there. It's not there.
What's going on here, people?
Helping the investigation.
Why?
Solving it might be more difficult than clearing someone. Clearing someone, if you have them there and they're willing to sit down, they're willing to answer questions, they're willing to show and tell you everything. What more is needed? Where are the holes? If there's holes in someone's story, let them know where the holes are, and if they can fill them, they'll try to fill them. If they can't, they can't.
Unless somebody's not telling the truth.
But it's not, and I understand law enforcement, close to the vest. Is that what they call it? Close to the chest or close to the vest? I never knew that saying. Which one is it? So I know they're just not showing their cards. Maybe they need to show a card or two. Or maybe they need a little more help. Where's the help going to come from?
Maybe people aren't telling the truth.
Where's the help going to come from? All right.
What does it take to clear
Roxy's
somebody?
World, has anyone been named suspects? No, I haven't heard of anyone being not cleared. It's a game, Vinny. I don't know what it is.
What about the theory if you're not, if it's not a criminal case, you're not a suspect, why do you need to be cleared? Why do you need to be cleared?
What is going on here? Elise, Vinny, I can't see Court TV streaming online anymore to watch your nightly program. I'm so disappointed. Of course you could see it. It's on every night. CourtTV.com if you want to watch.
All right. So while Vinny is talking, I just want to chime in for a second. We don't know what these people are putting out. We don't know if they're telling the truth or not. It's only going by everyone. There's always versions of sides of someone's story, right? Information gets out there. These people are saying things. Somebody out there is, based off Chris and Katie, Seth, somebody out there is either not saying the true story, or maybe they all are talking and telling the truth. Do you think, all right, let me ask you something, all of you. Do you think that Chris Proudfoot is credible? Yes or no? Do you think that Katie Proudfoot is credible? Do you think that Seth Rogers is credible? I personally, we don't know these people. We don't know none of them. We only know them from February 26th on. We weren't in their household. None of us were in their households going back for the last 15 years of Sebastian's life. None of us. We don't know what goes on into their home. Think about all of you. Think about this. If the media contacted you out there and said, hey, we want you to come on TV and talk, you're probably going to be you're going to come on at 8 p.m. tonight and talk. You're probably going to put on your best outfit. You're probably going to go take a shower. You're going to try to think of the proper things to say and what not to say to embarrass yourself on TV. So it's technically scripted, and it's up to you to have the discipline to behave appropriately in front of the cameras. So they're going to put out the information, these people, these parties, all of them, the way they want you to hear it. I mean, even when I come online, right, and talk to all of you, if you guys, I got to be careful sometimes saying things. There's a lot of things I want to say, but I have to hold my tongue. Be professional. Even though I try my best to be professional and try my best to not use profanity and all that stuff, but you behave appropriately as if the camera is on you. And when the camera is on you, you're going to say stuff. I mean, people's true colors can be seen right through it. Now, I'll be honest. I've seen Seth Rogers cry for Sebastian. I've seen tears out of his eye. I've seen him. I've seen tears. The whole case is just very strange and bizarre, but what will it take for them to be cleared?
Anything is possible. Like Elizabeth Smart. We know how strange that ending was. We know how strange that ending was. Things like that are possible.
As Sebastian being alive somewhere, being held at some camp or something like that.
Being a diva, arriving late, 2 minutes late, buddy. Well, Elaine McKenzie. No, just doing the things I have to do because right after the show, I've got to go to the studio to do my other show.
Vinny's good. He's the best in the biz when it comes to this kind of true crime. And the fact that he's on talking about what will it take for Seth to be cleared? What will it take for Seth to be cleared? But Seth's him saying he's not cleared. Sumner County might have a whole different story. They might say, but they're not saying anything, but they might say, dude, you're not a suspect. But the fact that Seth is coming out saying he's not cleared makes me think, okay, suspicion. But how can you be a suspect when authorities have said this is not a criminal case? Or are they building a case? But again, to me, it goes back to what transpired up to February 26th when these, with all these characters involved in this case. What transpired? What happened? What happened the weeks before Sebastian went missing? What was the communication like between Seth and Katie? What were they talking about? What were they texting? Were they emailing? Was there accusations? I heard there was. But what was the course of these things? Because all that information is, we don't have anything on that. So if Eric Craddock, the Sumner County Sheriff's, has said that the parents are cooperating, and I'm assuming all three of them, then what in the world is Seth talking about being a suspect? Or is he just trying to gaslight authorities into getting something to something? Are they mad? Maybe. And like I said, my theory is maybe if he would dump Tony Mathis, maybe authorities would be more reluctant to talking to him. But I feel, my opinion, based off the damage that has already been done by Tony's representation of him, I feel, and this is my opinion, I feel, based on the fact that Tony has come in there and kind of stirred the hornet's nest, created a lot of controversy, which he has. If he hasn't, I don't know where you guys been. Everybody that's been following this case knows what's up. But you think with Tony by his side and the things that Tony has said on TV, that authorities are going to tell him anything at this point? Maybe if Seth would have had his original people on board, he'd be a lot farther than he is today. Matter of fact, I feel if he would start doing public searches, not these silent, secretive searches that I don't believe are any searches, but even if he did some searches, it would kind of get the momentum going again. All it takes, folks, is some social media presence, which means some cameras there, filming what's going on, and a group of people searching. And you do a calls to find a little boy with autism. And the first search, you might get 10 people. The next search, if it gets publicized and people are out there searching, you'll get 50 people. Then it turns into an army movement from people from all walks of life coming out and searching. But he stopped it. He stopped. I don't know, Tony Mathis stopped it, or he stopped it, or a combination of both. People want to help. People want to help. When I was out there that first couple weeks after Sebastian went missing, more and more and more people came out with mud shoes and boots, walking sticks. And they were like, where are we going to search? What are we going to do next? What are we going to do next? Then suddenly it just stopped. Like everyone got scared off, which is weird. You would have had a tidal wave. That 50 or 100 people probably would have turned into 1,000 people out there, literally, looking for this boy. Because people can relate. When it comes to a child, it's like all hands on deck. But again, with this case, and I've said it, we ain't going to get nothing out of her. We're not going to get any information out of her. They're pretty much just silent. Probably for legal reasons, probably because they don't, everything they say gets critiqued and looked at, analyzed. So he's the only one left with Tony. But then when he puts out the stuff that he hasn't been cleared and stuff like that, makes people wonder. This actually might be a deterrence. It's probably one of the reasons why Joe Petito didn't want to speak to him. Because if you're sitting there saying, I want your help, but you're saying, I haven't been cleared, well, who wants to be around a suspect in a case? But just saying it, I don't know. I don't know what to believe. Is he being truthful or not? Is he cleared or not? Is he a suspect or not? And I don't think we'll ever get the truth. I don't think we'll ever get the truth on this case. So what do we do? What do we do? What's the next step? What's the next step here? What can we do to find Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers? Flyers only go so far, folks. If you're from Hendersonville, Tennessee, and you're from Sumner County, at this point, if you don't know who Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is, you're living under a rock. Everybody. You know, I went all over the place in April when I was up there, and his flyer was everywhere, and people knew who he was. I went in Goodlettsville, the town down the street from the Proudfoots, right there at the connecting interstate, the two hotels, the gas station, and the McDonald's there. They all knew who Sebastian was. They all thought, and matter of fact, I made a video on it. All of them thought the Proudfoots. The Proudfoots had something to do with it. I mean, it's common sense. The last person Sebastian was with was the mom. But Seth Rogers claims he hasn't been cleared. I have a theory. I mean, my theory, I've shared my theory. I shared my theory on what I think happened to Sebastian. There's two possibilities. He either ran away from all of them because he couldn't take the chaos in the house, or Katie was in total fear of Seth having Sebastian because of, you know, stuff, and whether it's true or not, I don't know if it's true. But there has been years and years of allegations between Seth and Katie in court documents. So their allegations shares that it wasn't peaches and cream between them. Soon as Seth and Katie, around the time they were separating, serious mud was being thrown at both sides, both at each other. Boom, boom, mud, muddy. Muddy, just dirt. It's toxic, folks. It was toxic between these two. And what we do know is Sebastian went with Seth sometimes. Other times he's with Katie and Chris. But I truly believe two theories. One, either Sebastian ran away from the craziness or Katie did something to Sebastian, and I'm not necessarily thinking it's because of Chris's doing, because Chris was like, get rid of Sebastian. Chris is, to me, it's just a garbage human being, right? I have my opinions about Chris. I don't think there's no goodness in Chris. I think Chris was definitely, I believe, the waitress when he, that told us when he was at that job site, flirting with the waitress, whatever like that. Like he wasn't happy in the household, and I think his discipline is way too extreme on children. I just think he's a cocky, arrogant guy, okay? But would Chris go actually tell Katie to do some harm to Sebastian or else? I don't think he would go to that extreme. But I do believe that Chris probably was telling Katie at one point, Sebastian got to go or I'm going to go. Meaning you give Sebastian to Seth. But in her mind, she's like, no way, I'm not giving Sebastian to Seth. Have you read the court documents? What she's claiming Seth did? So you're a mother. You're being pulled, playing tug of war between two parties here. Her husband, who's the breadwinner of the house. They have a $650,000 house. If she's out, if he divorces her, she's out. She don't have no rich family. He got all the money. He got the money. Bowersox, they got money. His side of the family got money. I'm not saying they're rich, but they're comfortable. He's probably up in the debt, up to his eyeballs because of some of the toys they have around that house. I can't understand how you can do that on a crane operating salary, but who knows? Debt. But she knows if he leaves her, it's over for her. It's going to take her, her being on her own, her having a dysfunctional mother side of the family. Her side of the family's wild, out the wazoo. We've already discussed them to a T. Now, I don't know if she has a lot of personal friends. Not a lot of personal friends have come out there and defended her. No personal friends have defended him. But I do believe him being separated from that house prior to Sebastian being missing for weeks put a lot of pressure on her to do something. This is my theory. Not saying it as a statement of fact. Don't sue me, Katie Proudfoot. This is all allegedly. This is all my opinion. This is all based off the information out there. I'm coming up with my theories and, But I feel that she was terrified of him. Like they are not on good state. Matter of fact, since this whole incident happened, they don't even speak. They can't even put their differences aside, folks, and speak to one another in the interest of Sebastian. He said it out of his own mouth the other day on Vinnie. That they don't speak. Or the only time they speak is with Chris there. And I don't even know, this is Seth's version. But he's very selective with his words. But I feel Sebastian. Now, what goes on in Sebastian's home with Seth? I don't know. You think it's peaches and cream inside the home when Seth and Sebastian are together? You think there's good fatherly love? There could be. There could be. But for me, it's like Katie didn't want that. And Katie's 9 years younger than Seth. And maybe Katie was fearful that Seth was going to take her world away from her. Maybe Chris wanted Sebastian. I don't know. Katie is the last person to see Sebastian alive. If that's not prime suspect, I don't know what is. Considering that she has put out almost no statements, no organized searches, no updates, social media private, zip, nothing, in hiding, nothing. She's gone. And I don't even know if they're at the campground anymore. There's people out there saying that they're not at the campground anymore. Okay, to me, it's suspect. But he could do a lot of public good if he starts spilling the beans and telling the truth. The truth about Katie. But he's very selective, and I think he's selective because I actually think the Proudfoots have threatened him. Scared him. I really do. I think that time when Chris confronted him, told him, we're going to sue you, or you better not say this, that, and the other. And from that point on, he's been very extreme. Matter of fact, from that point on, he pushed away all the real searchers away. There ain't no searches going on right now. Anything that he says, I don't believe when it comes to the private searches. I don't believe it. But I think he might have to save face. Start getting some searches, and then people might come out. I don't hate this guy. Some people have said in the chat, and I've read the comments, that I have a personal vendetta. I don't hate this guy. I'm just calling out what I've seen and my opinion about the situation, being there, associating with people around. I know a lot of you come to me because, we're in the know. We're in the know. We're not just like mainstream media that just reports like on a segment that they put out. No, we analyze. We take deep dives. We try to understand this. We try to understand what's going on. If he didn't do it, I would love for him to be cleared. Wouldn't you? If he's not a suspect, police should leave him alone. Absolutely. Leave him alone. But maybe if he wants to be cleared, he should try some tactics to try to get clear and maybe talk more. Otherwise, you got people all over the fence. This is a very controversial case, folks. We can all agree that everyone has opinion about every subject centered around this case. And a lot of you have your doubts and suspicions on each person. We might not agree. We all have our suspicions on certain individuals. Most of us. I'm not saying everybody. I mean, would a suspect, it'd be Machiavellian, but would a suspect wear a shirt? Have you seen me? And demand FBI take over the case? Would a suspect do that if they were involved with something? Would they do that? Would they say, I want the FBI, I want the FBI? Some people might say, yeah, I'm not so sure. And suspects are usually the ones that are quiet. The real people involved are the ones that are quiet, the ones that hardly say anything. Right? Wrong? What do you think? And I want to be fair as possible. I get alerts while I'm on the phone. Nothing and nothing. But we're at 180 days. Now, Eric Craddock is not under Weatherford anymore. He's not the number 2. He's the acting sheriff. So maybe the acting sheriff, since he's the boss and he doesn't have to answer to nobody, maybe he should just come out and finally set the record straight on something. District attorney or something. If he didn't do it, clear him. Clear him. If he didn't do anything, clear him. Say he's not involved. He claims he can't get resources until he is cleared. Okay, clear them. Why does the Sumner County sheriffs have problems with independent people trying to find Sebastian? Is there a what's the word I'm looking for? I almost was going to use Seth's words. Ego. Is there egos going on, where the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, we're not going to let the private citizens solve this case. It's only going to be us that solve the case, not the private citizens. What about a reward? Why, oh why, when you have the biggest missing person case literally in Tennessee history, and I don't know if we'll go side by side with Summer Wells, neck and neck. How about that? To be fair for Summer Wells. To be fair for Summer Wells, in this case, these are the two biggest missing person cases in Sumner County history. Summer Wells, there was a reward fund. Ended up being a lot of controversy over that reward fund, which required the courts to intervene. But in this case, but there was some attorney in this case from Nashville that was creating a fund. A little fishy on that. But why isn't there a reward? Money talks. As we said, tough economic times, money will get people to talk. It really will. Or at least provoke thought. Maybe they feel like, oh, money will get people to come up and make all these claims. Like this woman just made. For people that are just jumping on, by the way, that woman, I forget her name, Donna Sneed Fowler. Sebastian's not alive, folks. She thinks she saw Sebastian in pictures at some autism center in Cleveland, Tennessee. But I'm not going to sit there and bash Donna for putting that information out because, hey, sometimes kids, Elizabeth Smart, in disguise, right? Sebastian's alive out there, dyed hair maybe, take the glasses off, somebody that may look like Sebastian. Plus, Sebastian is, if he's alive, be 16 years old coming up. As a teenager, each year your appearance changes a little bit, right? Starts to get into manhood more. So if he's alive, his appearance he could be totally different looking from this point. If he's alive, Seth seems to believe that he's alive. Nothing from the Proudfoots. Nothing. Nada. And it's good that we're talking about this because we're going to still keep awareness on this situation. I'm critical of all of them. All of them. Because I feel like all of them have a lot more to say and are hiding things within. Hiding things. They're keeping things close. So, we'll wait and see. The only person I expect to speak about this case is Seth Rogers. Will he speak again? Probably. With who? I don't know. Go check out Vinnie Politan. We played a portion of his live. He's saying, what will it take for Seth Rogers to be cleared? What do you think it will take? What do you think it will take for Seth Rogers to be cleared? What can he do? What if you're innocent? What would you do if you were in Seth's shoes? And if you were innocent, what would you do if police were telling you weren't cleared and you were like, yo, I didn't do this? Why isn't Seth getting a lawyer? If he's not cleared, he wants to be cleared, why doesn't he get a lawyer? I don't understand that. Even people would be skeptical, but why doesn't he set up a GoFundMe for some sort of civil fund? We saw with the Allison Joe case, you could set up GoFundMes or Give, Send, Go, something in that similar sense, and say, I need an attorney to fight for my rights. Why isn't he getting an attorney? Asking for him to, some sort of legal representation to get him cleared. Why can't Tony Mathis use his connections to get some attorney out there. I mean, apparently Seth as an attorney was using more money on the attorney to send out cease and desist on people talking about the case. But I think the focus should be about, like he said, if he feels he can get more resources, then get an attorney. But instead, they used some family law attorney to send out cease and desist. I don't know how much that cost, but I'm sure it wasn't free. What can you do? What could Seth Rogers do to get cleared? What steps would you take if you were Steps New? Give me an idea so we can maybe present this suggestion to Seth. It's come up with a solution here for Seth Rogers to get cleared. What can he do? Like, what would you do? Protest in front of the sheriff's office? I don't think that would work. What can you do? What can you do? Call, flood the phone calls all day? I don't know if that will work. That just really tick them off. No, I'm seriously. If Seth's going to sit there and say that he's not cleared, let's try to find some way to get him cleared or some way to get, help, because it seems like he's looking for help. They said they want this case covered positive, right? I don't think there's nothing positive out of this case, but hey, if his goal right now is to get him cleared, where Chief has aspirations to do something beyond being cleared, they said they'd get them resources. What can we do? How can we help Seth Rogers to get cleared? Share a lawyer. I mean, but then, why isn't Seth setting up a fund to get a lawyer to get him cleared? Why isn't he doing it? Talk the talk, walk the walk. Two different things. Talking is a lot different than walking. But, folks, considering what we know about this case, I hate to be a party pooper, but, if Sebastian was to be found, you honestly think that authorities would hand Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers back over to Katie and Christopher Proudfoot? Do you think Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers would be handed over to Seth Rogers if Sebastian is found? Unfortunately, I don't think Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers would be put in any of their hands at all. I really don't. And it's sad. Some people say, yeah. I guess. But then what? Then what? So where are Sebastian's army? We're going to keep him out there. Wanted to show the information out. Vinny's talking about it. A lot of cloud of suspicion around Seth. Is he a suspect or not? Let me know what you think. What can we do to help? I'm open to ideas. Problem solving. Solutions. Sebastian's army out there for sure. A lot of you guys care. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm JLR Investigates. A little under the weather. I got a little raspy throat. I'm getting better. Taking lots of vitamins. And we're on this case. We're not going away. We're Sebastian's army. Anything else breaks about this case, any new information, anyone comes out the woodwork and says what, we have eyes all over the place. We got eyes all over in all these groups. We got a lot of sources. We know what's up. You will hear it on this channel relatively quickly. Thanks for watching. Sebastian Strong. We'll talk soon. JLR Investigates. Stay safe.